This video is going to show you how I take Google spreadsheet and Google Forms and take an open inquiry activity with lots of questions from students and try to bring it down to some kind of focus, make it a little more manageable. So to begin with, my model activity, this is kind of an action-reaction activity. Let's say a gun's fired in one direction and the person goes the opposite direction. In fact, the video I have off of YouTube has a person floating in space shooting a gun in one direction, and the bullets go to the right of the screen, the person goes to the left of the screen. And the question is to the students, do you think this is accurate? Is the video portraying this accurately? So there are a couple questions they know based on some of our class discussions, and they're going to go through and they've got to put in their questions and create a lot of their own questions. So to get everyone involved, the first thing I do is I make a little form, and on the screen you can see the form that I use. And on the form it has just one question, one box. They are to enter one question or questions they need to answer to solve this question. This question being the big question of, is the video accurate? So what do you need to ask in order to figure out if the video is accurate? So each student by themselves, without talking to anyone else, enters one question, and they keep resubmitting this form. And in fact, this particular group got about 238 questions out of it. So these 20 kids generated a whole lot of questions that they thought needed to be answered. Now the question becomes for us is, how do we make this a manageable assignment with 238 questions? We need to sort through the questions. So that's the next task, sorting through the questions. What I do is I take all their answers, which you can see right here, and I'll take the spreadsheet and I'll make it a little more manageable. In the A column, the students have already filled out the A column, and I'll explain what the A is in just a moment. But in the B column, what they do is they take the questions they have, and I'm going to stretch the column by dragging the top of it, next to the letter B. So hopefully you saw where I grabbed there at the corner of the B cell and stretched it so each question can fit real easily on the screen. And the A, when they get it, there's nothing filled in for the A. And what they have to do is they have to go through and evaluate this on a scale of each question, a scale of 1 to 4. 1, definitely need to answer. 2, probably need to answer, but not sure if they can. 3, not really, might be a little interesting. 4, definitely, don't answer it. So for the 4s, they're either repeats of a question the student's looking at, or it's just a question that really doesn't matter. So the students have to go through all 238 questions. Now at this point it'd be a madhouse if all the students just started attacking this one spreadsheet. So what I'll do is I'll take the spreadsheet, I'll share it to the students, and I'll share it privately. So I'll click on the share button that's up here, and then in the bottom box I'll enter their email addresses and share it privately and give them the rights to edit. So they get this, and now they have it in their possession in their Google Drive, and they can edit it. Now the 1 through 4s, you can see that I've already labeled 1 through 4s. Actually, the students have already done this, but I'll show you how they did it. So to organize the students, I created a spreadsheet. I call it the question sorter and assigner share spreadsheet. I really don't know what to call this spreadsheet. If you want to use this for your own students, you can go to goo.goal/capital H, capital X, lowercase j, lowercase n, lowercase t. And when you go there, you'll get to this screen, and then you log into your Google account, and that'll allow you to put a file on this screen and make a copy of it, and that copy will appear in your Google account, and then you can do whatever you want to the spreadsheet. So here's the spreadsheet. On the sheet that I have, this is the one the students answered. It has up to 238 questions, and I'm sorry I can't scroll on it, but I've got some kind of issue going on here that's not allowing me to scroll down. But here, up here it says number of questions, and so in yellow I put 238. Number of students, I have 20 students in my class. And then row with the first question on it in the spreadsheet with the questions. Well, as it turns out, that's row number 1. So that's got the first question on it. So that's why I entered the 1 over here in the F column. And then the spreadsheet sorter figured out student number 1 has to answer questions 1 through 13. Student number 2, questions 14 through 25. Number 3, 26 through 37. So I just go to the student and tell them to count off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like this. And that's how I assign the numbers. Then they go back to the spreadsheet and they assign the numbers 1 through 4. And you can see that that's what's done in column A. So I give them a little bit of modeling to help them along, and they take off and they get it no problem. Then the next step is to sort it. So to sort this, what they'll do is they'll go to column A. There's a little arrow that pops up on the right. You can see it right there. And I'll click on it, and I'll go down to where it says Sort Sheet A to Z. So they'll select that, and when they select that, all the 1s appear at the top of the screen, and then the 2s. On this sheet, there's about 60 questions left. A few 1s and a whole lot of 2s. And now I've got to sort these out on a scale of 1 to 4 and figure out what the repeats are. So I'll go back to my question sorter. And this time what I'll do is I'll assign teams. I want 4 teams. I'll call it Team A, Team B, Team C, and Team D. So I'll use the sorter. Instead of 238, I'll change it to 60, because there's 60 questions that are ranked either 1 or 2 on my spreadsheet now. And I'm going to have, instead of students, I'm thinking of in terms of teams, I have 4 teams. So I'll change the 20 to a 4. And then I'll go to my class and I'll label how the students count off. You're A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. And you can see from the picture how I would divide up the class. Then we look at the sorter that shows on the LCD projector, so they can see that Team A as a team has to go through questions 1 through 16, B 17 through 31, C 32 through 46. And they're doing the same thing. They're trying to see which ones they keep and which ones they need. And now I just tell them to label them 1 and 4. Keep or get rid of. That's all I want to know. So if it's a duplicate, it's a 4. If it's something they don't need anymore, it's a 4. And I've even invited them that if they want to rewrite one of the questions a little bit, they can do that. So they go through and they rank them in these big teams, and then as a class, we put the whole spreadsheet up. At this point, it's probably about 20 questions. And now as a class, we go through and I'm asking them, do we need this question? Do we need this question? Do we need this question? And they're just going through, and we're reaching consensus in the class of yes, we need to answer it, no, we don't, or that question's a repeat of something else we have, or that's so close to this other question that we really don't need the second question. And sometimes as a class, we decide to reword it. And now I have my activity. At this point, I probably have it down to 10 or 11 questions that they have to answer, and then they need those answers in order to figure out the big question, which was, is the video accurate? And so this takes my big inquiry process with 230 some questions, every student involved, and through the cyclical process down from individuals to teams, gets it down to something that's very small and manageable, and we all know where to go and how to focus on this. And then it's up to the students to use their search skills to find the answers to these questions, and then using their physics skills to mathematically show, prove, or disprove if they think the video is accurate or not. Then they write it all up in some kind of template that I've provided.